MMA Roadshow, episode number 557. My name is John Morgan, and Cold Coffee is actually with me. Not the original intentions, no sir. He was going to be out of town, but life changes sometimes, and he is home. This was going to be a remote show. Instead, we are together here in Las Vegas, and in a rare turn of events, not at the Casa de Cold Coffee, but seated here at the Morgan Manor.
Yes.
Just with a bottle of Jameson Irish whiskey and a little bit of ginger ale on a Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Doing what you typically do. You know, normally on Black Friday you get up and you go purchase a racing simulator for your 13-year-old son.
Yeah.
and you put
Exactly.
it together. I'm just realizing now I do spoil my kid a little bit.
You're just noticing that now.
Pretty excited about it. Thank you by the way for helping me out, doing a little manual labor, getting up at the crack of 9 this morning, and being willing to go load up the thing in the truck and bring it over here. And my good friend Mike, obviously I will give a lot of props to him as well. Mike has appeared on the show before. He's a UFC cut man as well, but he had a racing simulator that he's no longer using as much as he used to, and he knows that my son is getting into racing, and he said, "Look, I got a heck of a deal on it, bro. He's like, here's Mike's so nice. He's like, here's what I put into it. Here's the cost I'll give you, significantly less." And he was literally like, "Dude, I'll go get the receipt. I'll find the receipts and like the model numbers and stuff, and like show you what I put into it." I was like, "Bro, we're boys. You ain't got to do that, man."
Yeah.
So
No, it's nice. You could tell it's quality. This is not let me buy the $50 plastic thing that hooks to my PlayStation and we sit in front of a thing. Like, this is a fully immersive, nice seat, wraparound monitors. It's legit.
that's pretty funny, man.
It's legit. And it's not light. It's not light.
I hope my son. I hope my son gets as much enjoyment out of it as I think he will. He was pretty excited. We were trying to figure it out because we have a CFSC event on December 20th and one on December 27th, and Mike actually has to leave town for a little bit in early December as well. So this was his Christmas present. Obviously, it's a month early for Christmas, but we were trying to figure out a way to coordinate it where we could get it set up right on Christmas, but it was going to be so challenging that like we're both off this weekend. We're all here together, so it was like, you know what, man, let's just knock it out. Yep. But I did surprise my son. He didn't know. Now it was funny because I was talking to my wife about like what do we do, and I'm like, well, you know what, man, if this is for him, like he might as well just come help too. Like he can come help carry and help put things together and all that. And but I didn't tell him. So I didn't tell him until we were literally pulling. So we get in the car this morning. I just told him, I was like, look, you have plans with me. Get up at 8. We're going to leave about 8:30, 8:40. And I'm like, it's me and you just need to know that. And he was like, okay. And then we get in the car. We're driving over. And we're going to pick you up. And as I was,
how did you describe? Like, what was the reason for that?
I didn't even tell him. Well, so we're just driving. He has no idea where we're going. He's just like, I'm just like, get in the car. Let's go. He's like, all right. So we start going, and we're driving. And he's like, isn't this the way to Kenny's house? And I was like, we're actually going to scoop him up right now. And he was just like, I'm so confused. Like, what are we doing? And so we scooped you up, and obviously we just started talking, shooting the shit on the way. And as we're getting close to Mike's house, I was like, do you recognize where we are? He's like, isn't this your buddy that has the racing simulator? Because I had taken him over there a week or two ago, to just see it, just because I want to see how he reacted to it and if he liked it as much as I thought he would. And he's like, isn't this your buddy that has the racing simulator? And he's like, yeah. I was like, why would we be going there? He's like, I have no idea. I'm like, because we're buying it. It's your Christmas present. You know what I mean? So he was super excited. So we got Christmas a month early here at the Morgan household, but we like to do things a little bit extra.
You just, that's how you do it. Now you could still have a second Christmas. That's how big they go here at the Morgan household.
I told him, I said, hey man, just so you know, on Christmas Day, I don't want you to be like super. I was like, I'm sure we'll still find something for you to open up and have a little present on Christmas Day, but don't be expecting it to be anything on this level right here. This is the big one. So. Anyway, man,
that's pretty cool.
Appreciate you helping out this morning and being willing. It's a surprise visit back in town in time. I appreciate you being willing to help out.
No, it worked out good.
Yeah.
It worked out good.
Worked out well. So we're initially going to do this remotely. Not a card to preview, obviously. It's kind of interesting. We got 2 cards coming up, both in Las Vegas.
We have cards to talk about, but just nothing this weekend, which is kind of nice.
Not this weekend.
We can give thanks for that.
We can give thanks to have a week. It is good to have a week off every now and then.
Yes.
But it is interesting, right? Because we are I don't want to just look past these 2 cards because one of them is a big event in Las Vegas. I mean, we'll talk about them in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, is a nice event.
It's a nice event. It's a nice pay-per-view event, and then of course an Apex card to close out the year, and then. As we know now, and we kind of knew already, January 24th is the first event of 2026, the first event of the Paramount era.
Yep.
So we're going to have a good, 5 weeks off in between, something like that?
It still feels weird for them to use the typical numbering. It's not like they would get rid of it, but it's like, it's on Paramount. He's like, so with the UFC 324s, and I was like, wait, but that's the pay-per-view.
Not anymore. So, all right, so let's just start there because I'll be honest with you. I don't know how some people feel, and I saw some people kind of negative feedback, and we'll get into that in a second. But to me, being a kid who grew up in the era watching this stuff when it wasn't on pay-per-view, you know what I mean? When it wasn't like it was the dark days and the underground. And for Dana White to be going on halftime of not only an NFL game, but an NFL game on Thanksgiving, and of course, as a Dallas kid. That's tradition. Every Thanksgiving, the Cowboys play. You get your family together. You all gather around. You cook your turkey. You eat. You hang out. And then you watch the Cowboys on things. So for it to be not only just an NFL game, not only just the Thanksgiving game, but then for it to be the Cowboys game on top. For me, it felt cool, man. It felt really cool to think of where the sport came from to now. We're making bout announcements on Fox on Thanksgiving.
Well, it was even kind of
CBS, I should say, not Fox, but
it's even funny, because it used to be, I thought just one Thanksgiving game. Then it was two. Now there were 3 Thanksgiving games, and they were all on different platforms.
That is weird.
So that's the thing. Obviously this was being announced, but this was on Paramount. The game was on Paramount, right?
CBS.
Then the following game was on Peacock or something. I think the first one was on Fox Sports or whatever. And I was like, this is surreal.
That is weird.
That just shows how big that the Thanksgiving Day has become, But to have them, start talking about, and the coming up, with the UFC and everybody likes family and fighting or whatever or something. Then to see Dean, you're like, this is crazy.
Surreal, right?
Yeah, because I know a lot of people, when they said they were going to make an announcement, people were like, is he going to be in studio? He's going to be whatever. They're just going to do some weird remote thing, but there they have it. What looked like was already a pre-shot thing. That's just tape piece, sitting there in his living room or one of his rooms in his massive place. But it was just it was just crazy and surreal. But
that is the South living room.
Yes, that is the South living room of the East-South wing. Just to kind of see how things have gone. But, it's kind of interesting because I feel like probably even when, it was going on to ESPN and when it was maybe on some of the other things before, just those first, promos, those first sort of hey, fans, this is what you're going to start seeing on this. And if you don't know, this is Dana White, or whatever. But, it's come a long way. But even to, where when you listen to the guys talking about it, wasn't I think before in years past or whatever, when you start seeing it, there was kind of the awkward transition where the hosts weren't quite familiar with the UFC and whatever. Right. But now it's gotten so big that the guys just casually went on and just started talking. I was like, wow, that was kind of a smooth transition. It didn't feel like they were just being here, read off this thing about this new partner of ours. Yeah. You could tell that they actually like the sport or watch the sport, and it's become regular vernacular.
It's a great observation, right? Because in the first times you would hear you can tell that the guy reading the copy has no idea. No idea. Coming up, John James and Daniel Cormier. Or, you know what I mean? It's just something like that. You're like, you clearly have no idea what you're talking about.
So it's come a long way, but that was kind of unique just to see that. But yeah, man, it's incredible. I mean, and you can see him now pushing the Paramount UFC account, which has 0 followers.
That's weird, right?
That's how new this is, So they're literally starting from scratch, but they're doing the right thing. They're having the UFC starting to promote it. At the one time when Dana was out there, in this little football clip, he said, make sure to follow the Paramount. Or maybe he said that, I don't know if he said it right there. I know he said it because he went on to IG afterwards. Yeah. And I know he said it there. So maybe that's where I'm combining the two things there. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see. But I mean, I know we've been wondering what it's going to look like on the channel, what the sort of embracement is. But if these guys, which are doing major things with other sporting things, are now going to work it into their broadcast or doing all the other things. Man. It's big.
And they should. I mean, look, if you're going to invest $7.7 billion
more than the company value.
It's insane.
It's in their best interest.
It's in their best interest to put it.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, we got this little thing off to the side. We don't really like to talk about it, or we try to brand it in. Like, bro, like everywhere you can throw it in. So
I mean, it's a good product. I mean, there's good shows, there's stuff like that. But I mean, especially now with the live sports switching on it, gives it a whole nother thing. It's one thing if you were just going for Tulsa King, or that might not even be the right platform. But just going for some of those shows.
By the way, I do watch Tulsa King. I just started watching Landman. It's the best show on TV. Landman is the best show on TV.
Dana White said the same thing.
It's the best show. Did he really? Did he say that?
He said 2 shows on Peacock. He said Landman and Mobland.
Mobland, I think, or something. I think that one's like an Irish or an English
something along those lines. But he mentioned the 2 ones. He's like, I know I talk about my shows in the past. He's like Landman and I want to say Mobland.
I'm slow to the game. Like I just started. I'm all caught up now. I'm making my wife and kid watch it. I was like, because we're gonna watch this every week. I shouldn't be making a 13-year-old watch a show like that, but I do.
It's
not that bad. Yeah. It's good. I'm telling you. You have Paramount Plus, right?
Yeah. No, I've seen the advertisements for it, and I've seen the thing. It's like another one of those ones where I was just like, it felt like I would just be like starting up Tombstone again, or not Yellowstone.
Best show on TV, and it's 1 season, and I think like 2 episodes into the 2nd season, so you're not that far behind.
Yeah,
you don't have to binge that much. Off on a tangent. I'm like the biggest champion of Landman now.
Is that the guy that goes back, like the family, and you had like a death in the family that goes back to take over like some of these? Or is that another show?
That must be another show.
Okay.
Yeah, Landman is he's running the Odessa Permian oil basin. He's running an oil company out there, and he's like the guy that's on the ground. Like he's the man that manages the land. He's the landman. It's not the greatest name ever, but it's damn good.
That's interesting. I wonder what show I'm thinking of. Mine was like overseas, and like I think Australia or something. Some kid goes back to take over.
Korean rom-com?
They don't do those based in Australia.
It's good. But no, look, I think this is going to be good. I've said all along. I mean, we just got a little taste of it. Obviously, like I said, I don't want to look past these last 2 events that we have to get to, and there are some big fights and all that, but it just does feel like this is going to be a big era.
Territory.
There you go. I can see how you confuse that with Landman. Territory.
It's about a family struggle over a vast cattle station, blah, 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 and the family struggle. I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's funny. That's funny. Wow. Maybe I'll have to check that one out, too. Is that also on Paramount?
It is. No, I think it's it might be a Netflix.
Got it. Yeah. This is my
creative names. Very creative names. Territory, Landman.
Oil man.
Oil man. Oil guy.
Oil guy. But it's good. I think this is going to be, another era of the sport that we see the popularity start, because it has felt like, globally, obviously the sport is still growing massively. And I still think it's growing in the United States a little bit, but I think the popularity had kind of plateaued a little bit. But I think this is the opportunity for it to go up again, because now, again, you don't have to pay $75. There's so many people that I talk to that are like, I like it, but I'm like, I would watch the fights that are on, but I'm not going to pay a pay-per-view.
Yep.
And you get it.
I mean, that's really smart for Paramount. I mean, like, they're reaching in, tapping into a whole nother market, and the fact that somebody maybe every once in a while would actually buy the pay-per-view, that's almost a year's subscription to their platform. So, I mean, like, I think a lot of people are going to be willing to jump on for either monthly or the yearly, and especially if the UFC runs some discounts like on yearly before like the big events, just offer like yearly packages for Paramount Plus. I guarantee they're going to get some stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's worth the money. It's so ridiculously, even the fact that ESPN Plus, the way they were changing their pay thing, that's going up quite a bit. So I mean, like, looking over at now at another streaming platform and the price is dropping back down again, it's making it more affordable. I think ESPN was starting to push upwards of like $30 a month.
If you want the full
more,
ESPN, which, because I have the full ESPN now too, I think I have the package that's like ESPN, Disney, and Hulu. Yeah, and I think it's like $40 a month or something like that.
And that's went up like multiple times.
And I think even that, they've already admitted like that is essentially a promotional price for the time being,
because it's going to go like 60 or something like that.
It's going up from there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's funny you mentioned that.
It's just crazy. And that's all ESPN. It's not like ESPN. Disney and them. Like their price is cheap.
Yep.
It's the ESPN shit. And that was why, like, when the cable things, when all the cable deals were having a hard time getting it, it's always on the ESPN side because of the amount of money they're paying out or whatever. And you could get like a package deal for Netflix and Hulu with no ads. But no, ESPN.
Not ESPN.
You have to allow the ads, and you're paying extra for that, and they still want to reserve the rights to get the ad money for them, which is just crazy. But the amount of money they spend, we've seen the amount of money that ESPN pays out. God. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy what they have to pay for the sports. It's such. I wonder how many people, because I do look, I just buy everything because my kid likes to watch TV, my wife likes to watch TV. I don't like to want to watch something and I can't get it. Like nothing pisses me off more than now than be like, what? I can't watch that. But so I have Peacock, I have Fox One, I believe is called their streaming service. Fox One, I think it's called. I have obviously Paramount. So of like the old major networks, like I pay for streaming services for all of them, but everybody can't be doing that. Like people have to be picking and choosing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have quite a bit, but I don't have all of them. But I mean, yeah, because it's so funny. Like because you start picking and choosing, you're like, oh, it's a la carte. There's no way it's ever going to be as much as what you're paying cable, and you're like, I think I surpassed that.
We need
cable
to bring
thing,
back. I mean, it's a joke, but it's almost like we do need to bring back cable.
But it's kind of crazy because that now the streaming platform, all these entertainment companies aren't going to go back to just a cable model. Like they're like, we can actually get people paying us money. We don't always have to pay out somebody else to like put them on their network or whatever. So I don't think they'll ever get a point where you can even just get cable and have everything that you need. I think you'll at some point want to go over, but I think you can fine tune it, and at least get your packages. But regardless, we're all spending more than what we did before. But I mean, it's nice like that because
at least we don't have to pay $75 a month for a pay-per-view.
Yes.
So for an MMA fan, if you were buying that every month, if you were actually buying it, not pirating it, you just freed up a lot of budget.
Well, and that's why I think Work's going to be pretty happy because we've been legit. That's one thing. I'm like, I can't not buy a thing and get caught for streaming something legally when I'm trying to work. That would just be ridiculous.
100%. Because I used to have the same thought.
I could put my company in trouble for doing that.
I used to have the same thought when I worked for MMA Junkie. I'm like, dude, if we ever got caught illegally streaming something, like how stupid would that look? Like our job is ridiculous. Covering the sport and we're stealing it. But dude, like think about that. For MMA Junkie, for instance, and I'm sure MMA Fighting's the same way. I think their staff's about the same size as Junkie. 10 pay-per-views every time, you know what I mean? So $750 a pop every single time. I mean, that's damn near $10,000 a year on UFC pay-per-view revenue.
That's a couple travel events.
Yeah.
Like
international.
If it comes down to that sort of thing, not that they care, but I would think that the company now is going to be cool with it. But yeah, I was even to my boss, I was like, so now I can just pay for this on my company card, right? For the Peacock, can I just do the yearly or
I would think so.
Platinum, whatever.
Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus. I would think so.
You're right. That's how I'm justifying it. I'm trying to think if I actually did that.
I used to charge
because I already renewed my yearly. So I was trying to think if I did it.
I didn't charge Junkie for like my basic cable and stuff like that, but I did when Bellator went to Showtime.
Yep.
I wasn't getting Showtime at the time, and I charged Gannett for Showtime. Like I don't need Showtime for anything. I'm literally getting this just for work.
Right.
Yep. At the time, they didn't have because I used to have Showtime for a long time. But I remember for a while they kind of didn't really have very many shows. It's kind of a rough time. They got Bellator, but they should pay for your Paramount Plus.
They should. And it's funny. I used to try to tell them. I was like, half the time I'm on site, I'm hotspotting off my phone. I'm using my data. I was like, you should pay for my phone, and they were like,
that
no.
was enough.
They're like, no.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, well, let's talk about the announcements that were made because we kind of knew going in that Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes
was a probability.
Yeah, we knew that was happening. To be honest, I thought it was going to headline January 24th. I did not expect this fight that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yep.
Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. By the way, it feels like the Ilia Topuria. So Ilia Topuria, an hour or two before the announcement was made, he's like, got some personal issues going on. I'm not going to fight in the first quarter. The UFC will make the fights that they need to make. It sounds like from what everybody – and by the way, I saw Max Holloway chimed in. I don't know if you saw it. So I know you were busy. Did you see that?
No, I saw it.
Max Holloway. So I thought that was cool. Like, hey, man, if it's what I think you're going through, man, like I don't know. I just thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's the divorce and, it's, custody and all that stuff. It's never fun to deal with. So it's completely understandable why he'd want to take some time away. But it was funny because when I saw that tweet, and then you kind of knew, all right, they're going to make an announcement today. It's all going to be tied in. I was like, that's got Hunter Campbell's name written all over. Because Dana really doesn't care. Like, Dana would make an announcement, and people would go like, what? What about Ilya? And Dana does not care. I felt like a Hunter Campbell, like, hey, Ilya, you mind going to social media real quick and just posting while you're not in this thing? Like, he kind of managed. He wants to be strategic.
And why it could justify that this would be the interim lightweight champ, and why it's the top of the bill.
And it justifies it, right? And honestly, to me, I hate to say best case scenario because with what Ilya is going through, that sucks, man. Family and all that, it's terrible. But from the UFC perspective, like they kind of had this problem, right? Like we were like, well, who goes next? You know what I mean? Well, it's got to be Arman. Like Arman looks so good, he's got to go next. But Patty and Ilya had that little history. That could be fun.
Yep.
But then you got Gaethje saying, if you don't give me a title shot, I'm out. And Gaethje, obviously, as exciting as it gets, you don't want to dick him over. He's a company guy. You know he's going to deliver. So to me, this is like
certainly works out.
Manna from hell, like God said. You know what I mean? Like it worked out. They got rid of all the problems. And I'm sure Armin's not exactly feeling so great about it, but at least look, this is there, and I guess that's the part it gets real interesting, right? If because on that IG live, right? Like Dana said, the winner would get Ilya. Does that mean Armin has to wait for the winner of this too?
Yep. No, because the winner of this is definitely fighting. Because unless Ilya, for some reason, it's dragged out. But it seems to me like it's already a foregone. I think he's probably just like, I just need a few months or whatever to get it sorted. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I know you're doing some stuff. And if you are going through divorce, whatever, it's not like it's going to take 6 months for you to figure shit out.
No.
It's not an injury. He can get it to whatever. But it's still like Armin and the guys, they have reason to be pissed off. When you look at, I have to look at what the UFC actual rankings. I'm just looking at what Tapology has in front of me, and Tapology has Gaethje at 6, Pimblett at 7. So I'm sure that the UFC numbers aren't too far off of that.
Not too far. Gaethje 4, Pimblett 5 is the official UFC rankings.
I mean, for anybody that says like, hey, I haven't lost my spot, why am I getting jumped by these guys? It's kind of shitty, But I can see. That they want to have 2 title fights on this big Paramount. It's the first card of the year. They want to blow it up big. Because if not, why the heck would you have Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes as the co-main? Like, if that was like a legit sort of title, you have to have a title at the top of the card.
Right.
But I could see where they're like, it's not as sexy as Gaethje versus Pimblett, maybe, so they want to have something. But yeah, I guarantee there's been some talks to, Ilya reached out, because I'm sure they were like, hey, we need to have sort of like an immediate sort of like match or start something, and he's like, I can't do it right now. And I'm sure they were like, okay, well, we're gonna do this route, and you get guaranteed to whatever, and you'll have some time. You could take your time, blah 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 blah. And Ilya's probably like, I like this better than Arman matchup or whatever. Like I think Ilya goes in and stomps both of these two dudes, regardless, whoever wins. So in his mind, he's like, it's fine. I'll get some time. I could do whatever. You guys get whatever you need to do. And it's not like I have to wait a while to kind of rejoin this stuff. They're not stripping them. They're not whatever. But yeah, I mean, Arman and some of the other ones I think are tougher fights than what these two guys are going to give them. But I like the fight. I like the matchup. I mean, for all the reason that you said, especially with Gaethje, nobody wanted to see Gaethje leave in a huff. Pimblett always talks good, and he's going to call out Ilya afterwards. He's going to call out everybody. He calls out everybody. I mean, it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I have no qualms about it. But I mean, I can see where some of the guys that they're jumping kind of the order. It was messy. It was whatever. But there was for a reason, because we have the rightful guys deserve, and Arman did nothing to not allow to lose a spot in how he last performed.
Did you happen to see Arman's Twitter account? I didn't see it. I was like, let me see. He surely has to have said something. His post was, "Make it make sense." Facepalm. Yeah. See, if you obviously this is an interim title, and you have to unify the titles after you have an interim title. But if you did the interim title, and then while the interim title was chilling, Arman and Ilya fought for the undisputed title, and then that winner fought the interim winner.
Oh, you can't have that.
That would be perfect, though, right?
Yeah, but that's fair. Just so messy. Because how can you have an interim if you're putting the real belt up for it? How can there be an interim?
How can the undisputed champion can't face a challenger if there's an interim champion out there?
If there's an interim champion, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, it's so yeah, Arman's he's gonna be grumpy. He's gonna do whatever. But at the end of the day, he's been grumpy for a while anyway. And he'll just have to suck it up. And if that means. And I mean, in a worst case scenario, if Ilya needs more time and they have to defend the interim belt, we know who's there. Arman can easily pick up there and just take that right there, And I would put Arman over both of these guys as well,
I would too.
So it's, I guess at the end of the day, he's probably the only person that's really has a reason to gripe, and there's nothing you can really do about it. But the I guess best case scenario is like, he's in the very, very short list of people who are right there.
Yep.
This fight's going to happen. If the Ilya fight doesn't happen right after that, which unfortunately means possibly 3 more months or something after this, or more, till that you actually can settle that. So he's kind of sitting off to the side. So he might want to pick up a fight, or he might just sit to the side. Or maybe Patty goes out there and finishes this in no time. Ilya's like, I still need another 2 months, and Patty might be like, or Justin might be like, well, let's run it back. Let's do whatever, you know.
That's got to be Arman's biggest hope, right? Is that Ilya can't make it back fast, like that you still get the next shot in your next fight, because after that last performance, he deserves it, man.
He deserves it. He did nothing to, to lose that spot. I mean, still does his weird shit during fight week, does a headbutt, and then afterwards him and, Hamzat back there causing chaos with other people, and just like, bro, settle down. Like, come on.
It is crazy.
That's the only shit where I think that the organization just wonders and worries what he's going to be like. Even Hamzat, it's like, come on, bro, like, settle down. You're supposed to be at a different, higher level right now. Like,
so true.
But
by the way, speaking of that card, I just want to get it on record. I think you went perfect last week, right?
I did.
You went perfect in your picks?
Almost perfect on the whole darn card. The only one I didn't was Nicholas Dalby. I almost had the whole 14-15 fight cards.
Wow,
that was the only one, and that went to a split decision.
On fire, fire! So,
bro, picked that main card, dog. So now I got 2 events left, and holding on to a four
fight lead.
Yeah,
wow.
That's not guaranteed.
It's not locked. It's not locked yet.
I still got to pay attention and dot the I's. But the one guy that tried to play the game, he knocked himself back a few extra strokes, and now he's 7 behind. So
I believe you said Nolan King is in second right
now.
Right?
Nolan King is in second. Nolan's a previous winner, But yeah, it's funny. We still don't have another. There's only been one 2-time champion. There's one 3-time champion. We're hoping there's going to be a 4-time champion.
Bro, that's dynasty right there, bro. Like, all you other people have won 1. I've won 3. Looking for 4. Like, that's legacy stuff, bro.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that asterisk year with Simon when we did the half year, I'd already have my 4.
Look at this dude, man. That's if you're looking for true expertise.
I don't know about that, because sometimes I pull some shit out. It's so funny. Like, a lot of times I'll pick. I'll be like, I'm going to put a parlay and put on my picks, and then never pans out. Right. It never works. But on the whole, I mean, I think, even when you were still there, I mean, like, to have like a 60%, average, and now I'm like at like 64 or something like that, some above 60%. That's pretty stinking good,
that's
man.
Strong.
And I'm not, but I always tell bettors, I'm like, dude, don't just go off me. I just go off my feel, whatever, and like, don't try to parlay, because the shit never works for me. So it's not going to work for you.
It's the hardest sport in the world to break down sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
man.
And that's it. As much as we watch it and we see it, it's still like a day-to-day thing. And I was just telling you earlier, a lot of times, like, what all the fight things, and you go right into it, and you're like, you have your pre-knowledge of what you think it is, and then I'll wait till media day because I want to look in their eyes. I want to see their face. And you can't, as much as it's all still, at the end of the day, it comes down to a gut feel on how they look and how I feel like they're doing. And sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes you're right, but it's kind of worked out. But again, at the end of the day, that's not science, that's not numbers, it's not whatever. It's literally trusting your gut when you're looking at a person. You're like, okay, taking all the count, I'll look at their, and it's not like a science, I'll look at their height differences, I look at their arms reach, the reach differences, I look at their past recent performer, or like who they fought against, how well they did. And then at the very end of it, I add in just the gut check of how do they look, like on media day.
You do, though, especially now if it's somebody that you're seeing for the first time, it's what are you reading? I don't know. But when it's somebody that you've interviewed like multiple times over the years and you've been around them on Fight Week over multiple years, I think there is something to that. Like
the temperament,
you just feel like their energy, their temperament. You're like, he's a little bit off this week, or like, damn, dude, like he's never been that good before. But it is still random, right? Like you hear people all the time. I had the best training camp I ever had, and I lost. I had the worst training camp I ever had, and I won.
The weight just fell right off. I feel good coming in, and then they're flat on the night. Like you never can tell, but. Let's go. Let's hope. But yeah, it's so funny. I always tell people, I'm like, I might be pick lead, but don't fucking look at me for advice.
I love it.
But if you're on the fence and you're like, I'm not sure, you could always look then and say, all right, well, he went this way.
I'm not saying trust me. I'm just saying I'm right more than I'm wrong. Is all I'm saying. I'm not.
It's not 50%, baby.
It's not 50%.
We're in the 10% up of that.
Around it. I think I tracked all mine when we started picking at Junkie. I think I ended up at like 64 point something percent over the course of like.
percentage?
1,300 fights or something.
Yeah, it's
like
funny.
that.
I asked AI, I asked AI, I was like, what's a good percentage on gambling or perking or whatever, and they're like 60 is a really good average. I was like, okay, well then cool.
Well, I'm over that. I think I wonder if I can find it. I used to have a doc. Oh, here it is. Actually, yeah, here it is right here. I found it. From 2013 to 2021. Gosh, it's more fights than I thought. I was 62, so I was wrong. I gave myself a little too much credit. I was 62.59% all time during my tenure at Junkie.
That's still really good.
From 2013 to 2021, when I left, 1,325 wins against 792 losses, so over 2,000 fights. That's crazy, man.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how many we picked.
That's good. Yeah, I know. Nuts, and that's why when it get towards the end of the year, you're just like, can we just not pick this one more fight? Like, let's just be done.
You know what? It's funny. I pulled this up, and I didn't realize is that the last year we were picking, I won, so that means like I walked out as champion.
There
so
you
can never, I never lost after that. I'm still defending. All right, listen, I want to get one other thought. I had one other thought too on the announcements that were made. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. By the way, weird, I guess, that there's two numbered events back to back. I don't know what that is, what the schedule or what, because I mean, there's no more pay-per-views, at least not in the United States. Some markets are, but this will be back to back.
This one's
international. So interesting that the first two are big number events. I don't know if maybe that's just because they want to do big cards to kick off the partnership or why that is. I'm sure we can find out about that later. But this one I found kind of interesting, right? Because I guess one of the biggest thoughts or curiosities I had was, and honestly, it was specifically about the featherweight division. I'm like, does this new partnership and the lack of need to sell pay-per-views make it easier for guys like Movsar Evloev, who is not a big speaker on the microphone, who maybe has not the most fan-friendly style. Obviously, it's a grappling-based style. It's very effective, of course. Yep. I mean, you look at his career record, it's easy enough to see that it's pretty damn good, but maybe isn't the fan favorite. Is it going to be easier for a guy like him to get title shots? Because now I don't need your $75. I just need you to tune in. And so I was very specifically curious about the featherweight division. And it did not take long to get an answer because instead Diego Lopez is back getting a championship opportunity. And again, not that I'm saying he's not deserving, not that I'm saying he's not, hasn't earned his way back to the spot, but I think it just goes to show you that even without the need to sell pay-per-views, they're still going to look for what are most people going to want to tune into.
Yep. And I think I was trying to figure out if it was just a junkie thing that I saw that Volk was saying, or if it was in one of our interviews, or if he said it somewhere else. And I can't find the actual quote, so I'm just going to say I'm paraphrasing, but I thought it was saying something to the lines of, Volk even said, yes, there is probably more capable or more deserving fighters to get that shot, but you know what you're going to get between Diego Lopez and Volkanovski.
Right.
So, like, we know we saw the first one. We know we're going to see this one, so, like, that's a fun fight. That's an exciting fight. So, yeah, I mean, and it's not like they're going way far down in the line of rosters or whatever. I mean, he's like a top 5 guy, so, I mean, it's a good fight. But, yeah, I mean, to even have him say, like, yes, there could be more
it's pretty interesting
deserving people out there, but hey, at the end of the day, you're going to get a good fight. And
he's not wrong.
And when it comes to him, he's the UFC is going to present him a set of names or a name, and it's his job to say yes or no. Can he give a little feedback? But obviously the UFC wanted it, and I mean, he's a company guy. I mean, it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be a fun banger, but so I could see maybe some of the other guys are like, whoa. I mean, like Diego just won a fight, but he lost the one right before that, so it's not like he's got a big long win streak that he's on, like
like how can you deny a man that's on a one fight win streak?
Like it clearly beckons that he should be getting the title shot, so
I mean, he was 1-1 last year. You have to give that to him, and you can't look out of the way.
But, I mean, it is kind of, again, Lopez, it's not like his star power has fallen off, after that loss. I mean, like, this is the dude everybody was saying was going to run through everybody, was going to be a champ, and then he just ran into Volk, so it is what it is.
It's interesting. I think the thing to remember too is that, I was talking with somebody this morning actually about this, is that, like, I think a lot of people are like, hey, look, the UFC got the $7 billion deal. Now they're going to be lazy with their matchmaking because they don't care because the money's all guaranteed.
Yep.
But I think what you have to remember is that, like, I guarantee. Now, don't get me wrong. The UFC right now is focused inherently on delivering on this partnership, especially out the gate, right? But the UFC, in their minds, they're already thinking about the next TV deal, right? Yep. They're already like, it's not like they go, hey, we got our $7 billion, we're good to go. No, it's like, how do we make sure that the next deal is worth $14 billion? You know what I mean? Like, yep. So they're going to want to still deliver. They're going to want Paramount to be happy and for the numbers to be there and for.
It's a 7-year deal, right?
7 years, $7.7 billion for the United States rights alone.
I know.
Isn't that
so
crazy?
Crazy. And then it makes you wonder, like, so you got the $7 billion for that, and then like contenders and like all this other stuff is more on top of that.
Zuffa boxing. I mean, and I can't imagine those deals are like massive deals, but it's still
how do you get the money or the agreement to even do this sort of stuff? Like, I don't get it.
I could never be at that level of business, to be honest with you, because I just couldn't. I don't think I could look at somebody with a straight face and be like, $6.5 billion, you say? I don't think that's enough. You know what I mean? We're got to go north of 7 on this one. And then, like you said, like if I write somebody a check for $7 billion, I'd expect them to be like, hey, we can also throw in Contender Series for you, or hey, we got the Zuffa boxing. Like, you want that for free? Like, since we're already giving us,
To think that wasn't even on the table.
These weren't in the terms.
It's just ridiculous.
It's crazy, man.
So and we've talked about things that we've heard about whether should they ever default on it, whether they'll actually get like an ownership stake and all this other little stuff. So I mean, like it's going to be really interesting to see how this works out and how things maybe don't change. It's so funny, even if it didn't. Say it doesn't go their way. I don't see them changing the brand name. Like, Paramount's already built itself up. So say they did do it and TKO took it over. It's like one of those things where you just keep the name as is. They just change the ownership structure or something along those lines. Like, I wouldn't see them trying to rebrand it and have to build something from scratch.
TKO again. Plus or something like that.
That'd be stupid. It'd be silly.
It'd be like if you were like HBO and you started calling yourself Max. And then you're like, well, that was dumb. We should just go back to being
HBO.
that was one of the weirdest branding changes ever. Like, you have so much value in the HBO name.
That's so silly. We talked about how the Gannett and USA Today thing, right?
No, what's going on?
So what was Gannett as like the parent thing is now USA Today.
Oh, it's no longer so Gannett is not.
It's like they changed. They went and rebranded,
when did that
marketed
happen?
like a month or so ago,
really?
Or something like that. So now
it's just.
USA Today,
to be honest with you,
because that's
that
the
makes
name.
sense too.
I mean, that's the name that people recognize and do whatever.
When I used to talk, who do you? Well, we sold to, because I would say that. Well, I was, guy danced up, started a website, and I was the first guy he hired, and then in 2011, I would always say we sold to Gannett, and then I'd be like, the parent company of USA Today, because I don't know how. I mean, Gannett is a massive company. There are people that know the name Gannett, but everybody knows the name USA. So that's actually a smart rebrand.
Even you think back in 2019, this is going back a bit, when Gatehouse Media acquired Gannett in their little merger or whatever, but they decided to keep the Gannett name. So even at that point, they made the decision, like, Gannett's a better name than try and do the whatever. And so now I think when they've done the rebranding and the talks about trying the best market, they know it's all about that USA Today name. So now usatoday.co or whatever. So like when you see if you go to like the USA Today Twitter, whatever, you don't see like all the Gannett branding stuff anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's just a little weird tidbit there for you.
Keeping me up to date about the old stomping grounds.
The old stomping grounds.
Yeah, USA Today Co. is the new. I did not know that.
Yeah, but it's very, very recently or whatever. But it's all that same sort of thing. So like, say if something did happen, if that's even in the works, it's all rumors, it's all talk or whatever. But it makes so much sense, because how can you promise something that you don't even have the value of your own company for it?
So weird.
So I would say that if something happened, they would still keep the Paramount name. I mean, like, you're doing all this branding, you're doing everything right now, even though, whatever. But who knows? We won't count the chickens before they hatch or whatever. But it's interesting. But I mean, because the amount of money that they're throwing around.
Oh my God.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, and it's hard. It's so funny when you think about how remember when they were just saying how the UFC was a $4 billion company, and like that number has been long surpassed at this point. Now I forget what they're trying to say. 14,
I think was the last valuation.
It's just ridiculous, because what's changed? The only thing that changed is just the broadcast deals.
Yep.
So with all that extra stuff coming in, because you can't really even count and say like, oh, well, they created Power Slap, they created all that. That's not the UFC. That's Dana's little site. He works it with the same staff, unfortunately for them.
They keep saying they're going to hire more people.
They keep saying,
they keep frozen.
Just be grateful you got a job.
They have to with boxing, right? Like as much as going on.
If you're when it comes, there's only so many weekends in a year, and if you're running your staff at some point, running events at the same time, you can only split the staff up so many times before you finally have to bring on new people. But with this money that they're coming in, they can't be greedy enough where they're just pocketing it all. You have to actually pay some money for the expansion of staff and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, you figured they would have to hire something. But it's interesting. Just because the numbers are. It's so crazy. When I feel like even when we first started talking about the Fox and Fuel and the ESPN talking about like, $150 million a year they're going to be paying for stuff, and it's like
now that's chump change.
That sounds like chump change.
That's chump change.
Isn't that crazy?
150? Like, ooh, what went wrong?
But imagine because they were just like, oh my God, this is great. I'm sure they took a chunk of change from that. Pocketed their lines. Paid down some of their ongoing credit lines. And then they just move forward, and then they just every time they renew it, they just get a bigger amount, and it just
nuts, man. Nuts. It's gonna be interesting the next few years. I was sitting here thinking about like the number of streaming services, and like you said, I don't see it ever reverting back to a system where it's not kind of a la carte the way it is now, but. I don't know. Do some of these companies like go away? Can they all survive?
That's the thing. I think that's it. At some point, some just eventually get bought up and merged with something else. I think when you started seeing like the CBS channel, the True TV, the Lifetime, Live, all these others, like, come on, people really can't be doing that. But if you keep the price point down enough, people tend to forget when you're paying $5.99 a month.
That's nothing.
You're paying $7.99 a month. You're like, okay, but when you start adding extra stuff on, and then you're starting to get to a point where you're like, okay, now we're in the double digits. Now we're going to jump up a little more, and you start getting into that $14.99, $19.99 a month. Then people are like, okay, wait a second, because I could have like 2 services or 3 services for this. Then I think people start questioning. You got to find that point where people use it enough that they don't mind that it's automatically taken from their account. Yep. But if you go too much where they actually have to sort of like, all right, let me budget this week because I want to make sure that this is good. Then they're like, okay. Then you start making decisions what's worth more, this or this.
Because if it's like less than $10 a month, like whatever.
I think most people forget.
I forgot.
It's just like, I'll stay away from Starbucks or whatever.
Exactly. But when you
not even that's like a regular thing. Just one trip to fucking Starbucks. There's your $10 or whatever, So. But yeah, I think as long as they can keep the price point the right way, most people are good. But at the end of the day, a cheap price point isn't going to get you $7 billion. Like, there's going to be a raise, and I think most of us know at some point that the Paramount numbers are going to go up, the cost of things. But they're really trying to hopefully offset that by the amount of viewers that come on. That's why that the payment ramps up as the years go on. So they really need these first couple of years to sort of like build up the viewership, and then hopefully if it works out, they'll kind of go. But I mean, who knows? Maybe there's an out for both sides. We tend to keep looking and say, okay, well, if they can't meet the number, that TKO can't go. But maybe if they aren't doing the viewerships, maybe there's an out. You figure if you're starting to throw that much money, you would put some sort of an escape
some kind
plan.
of exit clause. Like, hey, this isn't working. We're not coming close to recouping.
I think that's. Not that ESPN, but I think if ESPN really was getting everything they wanted, they would have paid more. I think they were probably like, well, we're good with leaving or whatever. But yeah, 7 years and this amount of money is just crazy.
It's insane. But I'm excited for it. I have my fingers crossed this can be a good thing. Like I said, I do believe that just the ability. I think about my own family. Like my dad watches the prelims, but he doesn't buy the pay-per-view. He's like, he likes it, but not going to pay $70 a month. I just think there's so many people like that. Yep. My mom's the same way. She'll watch it. And I've talked to people just out, I don't really watch it. And now you're going to get to see the biggest fights, the biggest stars. You're going to get to watch that stuff, not just the prelims. So I'm excited for it, man. And like I said, I don't know. It's just when that announcement was airing on halftime of the football game, man, I got a little bit excited, man. I was like, this just feels like a moment in time. It feels like something special. It feels like this is moving forward, kind of the next era or the next level. So we'll see how it all plays out. And we'll let the billionaires worry about it. The dollars and cents all work out in the end. They'll just find a way to shift the money somewhere else, and little capital here, little capital there.
Looking at the Paramount Plus premium yearly right now after a trial, $119. The Paramount Plus Essential, $60. So one aspect you can get a yearly for less than one pay-per-view cost, and the other one's just roughly over 1.5 pay-per-view.
Which I'm sure you're going to have the premium tier to get the quote-unquote numbered events, I would imagine.
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
That's what I think most people are saying, that they're going to try to make you get into a certain particular thing. But, I mean, because right now I think they must do it by shows and just maybe no ads or that sort of deal.
No ads. Usually the premium tiers have like no ads, right? But I think, because I want to say, and it might be Showtime.
Oh, and Showtime Originals, yes. So I'm looking at things. So at the Paramount Essential is ad supported, and then only select series from the Showtime Originals. The premium, you could download movies and shows. Imagine that. I wonder if you could download then UFC fights on your, like if you're a nut and you're just like, I love UFC. I wonder if I could download UFC fights and just have them on your thing and watch them on a plane or something like that. And you get to stream the CBS Sports and stuff live. So there is that difference. So there's actually value in why between the two levels.
Yep.
I mean, because some stuff just not even having ads, people are willing to pay. But then you're starting to get access to like the Showtime stuff and let alone live sports.
I think I originally got Paramount because U.S. Soccer was on there, and I'd want to watch U.S. Soccer games, right? But I had like the base tier. And then Dexter came out with a new season, and my family wanted to watch the new season of Dexter, and you had to get the premium tier. Like I was paying the $5.99 a month, and you had to go up to like the $11.99 a month or whatever it was. So I'm sure the UFC is going to be on that highest tier.
And that must be why, because if it's saying stream CBS live with more sports and events on the premium, that's got to be already bulked under it or something like that. But still at $119 a year,
it's not bad.
It's so worth it.
It's not bad. It's worth it.
It's so worth it. It's $10 a month. That's ridiculous.
That's awesome. And it's got land, man. I'm telling
All right,
you.
I'll put it on the watch list.
You got a little. You got some time this weekend, right? You got some spare time on your hands.
I ain't got no UFC event.
Hanging out, no UFC event. Nice weekend. I mean, you put on, open the doors, get a little fresh breeze going through. We'll keep mowing down this bottle of Jameson here.
Yeah, I'll have another one. Oh, it's gone.
So you getting a little low there. So we won't extend it. We know it's the holiday weekend for everybody. We don't have fights to talk about, but I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, because we're going to talk again. We could put our predictions in for the next one. But I am looking forward to the fights. I think it's going to be good fights. I mean, I think these are good cards that they're starting the year with.
How about the last two in Vegas and the first one in Vegas next year? We're home games for a while.
Bro, I have no problem with home games.
That
might be what the more of it is, because now with the travel getting kind of restricted or whatever for us internally, not like a junkie. It's more of USA Today just saying, hey, slow down, because now with the current organization, like we have the Olympics coming up and all this other stuff. So everybody's already gearing up and all this other stuff. So yeah, I don't envision that if we come at them and say, hey, I know we got the Olympics and other stuff, but hey, MMA's got to travel. I think they're going to be like, well, slow down, So
listen, man, the truth is the UFC has done such a good job of distributing information. You don't really need to travel that much anymore to be honest, to cover it. I mean, legitimately to cover it. Now, again, there is a big difference between being there at the event live, being in the room, getting those opportunities at the press conference. There is a reason to go.
Yeah, for sure.
To provide a service to your reader, man, they do such a good job of distributing all the videos. You know what I mean? Like,
Now, granted, if nobody's there to do the media days,
if nobody's there,
what are they gonna?
Well, I mean, Cold Coffee's always going to be there handling the solo media days.
If it's a Vegas card, I'll be there.
I do remember doing a couple solo media days during my.
It's just so brain numbing. It's just so tiring, and like it's one thing if it's just like 6, but if they're like, hey, everybody on this card needs to be here, I'm like, did you ask the one person that's going to be in the room? Because I could tell you.
Are you okay with 16 interviews
they're
today,
good.
Bro?
We're good. We don't need them.
Oh man.
Because that's the kind of funny thing. Because yes, it is cool that they do provide those, but somebody has to be there to ask the questions for them to provide.
It's true.
It does, but it does help that they do a really good job, more so than pretty much any other outlet out there. And like the NBA and some of the other ones do a decent job of like providing access to some like post-fight or post-game scrums, but even that, it's very, very limited. Like you're not going to have these 30-minute interviews. Mm-hmm. You're lucky if you have the athletes in the room for 10 minutes or more. Like it's very restricted. So like what we are able to get and how they do, disseminate that info around is very, very cool, and it's very unique. And you still kind of get that whole like it came up from a grassroots sort of like thing as compared to the other ones. But yeah, at the end of the day, do you need to go to every event? No. But can you make unique things by going there, absolutely, and then being able to have your own footage that you can then distribute without, and be able to claim it, without being the same as everybody else's.
I covered one time Real Madrid came and played a soccer game here in Las Vegas, part of that international series or whatever. I can't remember what they call it, but those teams will come over and they'll do these exhibitions. And one of them was at Sam Boyd Stadium, the old Sam Boyd. And it was funny because they had like a mix zone, and the whole thing was like the athletes will walk through here, and if they choose to stop and talk to you, they can. Not a single. I mean, the media is just lined up in this mix zone, and they literally the athletes had to walk by you, but they literally just walked right by you and didn't even look in the direction. And then they were like, and then afterwards we'll have a post-match press conference, and we'll guarantee you one of the coaches will be there. They sent in a coach. He came in and took one question and left.
Wow.
I was like, this is so much different than covering MMA where, like, the president of the organization sits down and will shoot the shit with you for 45 minutes.
And literally, like, anybody else? You done with me? All right. Have a good night. Best. Yeah, and that's what it's so strange and it's so unique like that, and it's such a weird thing. But that's why I tell people, like, we cover the most bizarre sport, people half naked beating the shit out of each other. But the decorum and some of the stuff that happens, it's like it's night and day from what you see in other ones, and people are like, "This is so weird. I can't believe that." Like blah 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 blah. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense at all. But it's literally the PR is the best in the industry, and the access that you get when they actually bring these athletes to them. Like the athletes, they might be grumpy, they might be in a weight cut, but outside of the main event, who maybe is whatever, and because they've been doing media calls all morning long. Outside of that, everybody's going to sit in there until you're done with them. Nobody else does that.
Nowhere.
Every other athlete in every other sport, maybe if there was a union, a fighters union or something, they would say, okay, guys, you don't only have to do this long.
You only get this amount of time.
Give them this and then walk out. You're done. Like they don't do that. But a lot of these guys still get the understanding, like these interviews, these stuff, this is how my brand grows. And so they put the effort in it. They take the time. They'll sometimes come in, they'll look a certain way, and they'll do whatever. That's why some guys in the post fight will take time to shower up, put on a suit because they want to come looking a certain way, where others come in and Morgan's telling them like, hey, you don't have to put your shirt back on. You're fine. I like the blood on your, I like looking at your nips, like let's
That's
go.
That's not what I meant. I just meant it was no big deal. I didn't say we'd prefer you shirtless. I just said you don't have to put your shirt on. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, it's
surreal though. I mean,
or you can be Ian Gary and come in 45 minutes later because you took time to put a nice shirt.
Because you put a nice shirt on.
He's always going to be.
Well, and plus he had the argument with Armand and them out in the hallway too.
This is true. That slowed him down.
If the timing was, I think that did happen, right? That was right before. So surreal, so crazy. This is such a wacky, just a wacky sport. But what's cool about that too is even the fact that people are shooting stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
If you're in the room, say you're in the room, you're like, why is he taking so long?
Yeah.
And then you would never, and then we'd never see that footage, and then somebody could bring that up in the discussion. They can bring it up when Armin comes in there, and they could do all this other stuff.
That's true too.
There's something cool about the fact that now in this day and age, everybody's shooting everything, everybody's doing whatever. But now we have people can be like, oh, I see why you came in here 20 minutes late. Can you tell me about that thing?
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the fight as well. Like it's such a fun, unique sport where so much of that stuff happens, and it just leads to fun, like crazy post-fight interviews. Because the fact, even with that, because like even just asking about the fight's one thing, and it can go whatever, but now having extra new drama, and now especially with Hamzat, like it just sends it off a whole nother tangent. For us that need views, we're like, hey, this is awesome.
That's what we need. It was funny too while you're talking about the whole process. I will say this too, and we were kind of joking about like how much the UFC staff gets worked, and they do because they're running like all different brands. Say what you will about I know people like to criticize the UFC, like to criticize the business practice, whatever. bro, the PR team, the operations team, like they're the best in the business, dude. Like honestly, like they are the best in the business.
Hands down. So and they work their tails off, and they're the least. I mean, like there's times when you actually will hear Dana or the staff sort of do it, but the best people that do it, that people actually really see, it's when the fighters are just like, thank you, you know, I've been treated great. And then, I mean, like, they're not just blowing hot air up their ass. Like, the staff really is some of the best in the business, and they work their tails off. And, they don't get enough recognition. And it's funny because, you know, seeing it, because we're always around them, so we've seen them on their good days. We see them on the days when they're literally on their literal wits' end, and you're like, okay, I was gonna ask him for something else, but I'm not, because he literally looks like he's gonna stab me if I say one more thing. And I'm just gonna say, hey, I hope you're having a great day, and I'm backing out, I'm backing away. Because they work them to death, but it is cool when they do get some of the recognition, and I like when you actually hear Dana will say something. He says it from time to time. It's not like he forgets to say it. He's just got so much other shit, but it's always cool when they hear it, because I know the staff does appreciate that. But I always think it's really cool when the fighters actually bring it up and stuff, you know, because it's one thing for us to say, hey, the UFC staff's awesome, but when you see these guys and these fighters that you guys respect and doing whatever, saying like, yeah, my life was made so much better, you know, this week because of this other stuff. You know, it's cool, because I'm sure they appreciate hearing some of that, because they're all underpaid, they're all overworked.
Yep.
You know, so any little thing that sort of like helps them feel a bit better is always cool when you hear that sort of thing, because the hours are long, and especially now when Dana's got every side gig idea that has nothing to do with what their real job is, but they're asked to cover all of it. You know, so
shout out to those teams, man. They are some good people.
Yep.
Well,
we give thanks to them, and we give thanks to you.
And we will give thanks to them by pouring in some more Jameson and ginger over here and having the cocktails. And, yes, we thank everybody that gives us time. Hopefully everybody is enjoying their holidays. I know this is a U.S. holiday, but hopefully our global audience out there is having a nice, relaxing weekend nonetheless. And, yeah, man, we'll be back to normal coverage next week. As I said, we'll be in town, each of us, the next 2 weeks. So these next two big events. Then we'll have a little break, but obviously the show will carry on, and it'll be the start of a new era. And I'm excited for it, man. I really am. We still a lot of things we don't know yet. Still a lot of things still to be sorted out, and we'll see how it. And does the broadcast look different? Does it feel different? You know, what goes on with the shoulder programming around it? Who knows? We'll find all that out. But I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a new era. So right now I'm excited to finish this cocktail and enjoy the rest of the afternoon and enjoy the rest of this Thanksgiving weekend. Hope everybody's having a good one. Thanks for listening.